So I just have one last question before I turn it to the audience, and that is, what has been your favorite episode to work on so far, or for the producers, which has been the most fun to either direct or write? Or produce?
My favorite episode to work on was the Chicken Fingers episode.
My favorite episode to film was the Christmas episode, because like Troy, I share the faith of my character, and I think it's important because there's not a lot of Christians on TV. I think it was really cool that we got to see the judgmentalness of Shirley, but by the end of it, she learned to accept everybody's differences, and I think that if everybody in the world did a little bit more of that, we all would get along a little better. So I love that she kind of got thrown under the bus, and she was horrible in the beginning, but by the end, she was fighting with everybody, and everything was cool. So that was my favorite one to shoot.
The reason that the Chicken Fingers episode was my favorite episode was because I think that when we shot it, we were sort of like, it was a bit crazy when we shot it. It was like a little all over the place, and there were times when we were sort of like, what's this scene about? What's going on? And then when it came together, I just love episodes where the group, like, is overcome with wanting power or wanting things that are sort of out of character for them. Like in that episode, how we, it's one of the greatest things about the show is we are these certain characters and they have certain traits, and we're in a community college and you think that has certain expectations, but then it departs and we do these crazy things. We're a mob. Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies, and it just was cool to be like bitchy Annie, or like, you know what I mean, who was in love with her backpack, and Annie's boobs was a monkey, and I still enjoy watching that episode.
And to speak to why it was as crazy for these guys, it was equally crazy for us. That episode just started out as one thing. That's why it was my favorite to work on. It started out as one thing at the table read at the beginning of the week, and under Dan's leadership.
And it changed.
It changed. It went from being...
You hear those quotes?
It went from being an episode, I don't know if this is interesting, but it went from being an episode about Troy running for, I think, cafeteria president. You have those, right?
What?
to realizing midway through that it was something else we had in our hands, and these guys were getting, to their credit, they were getting scenes when we knew, we sort of had it all plotted out, but we were writing that episode as we were shooting it, and these guys were getting scenes not knowing, I think, for the most part, what the hell we were doing. And the fact that it came together as nicely as it did was very gratifying and cool.
And at one point, at one point, there's this character, Tro, and he comes in, and he's like, I dressed like a crazy pharaoh for you, man.
Yeah. I like that one. I like that episode a lot. I have to say I'm kind of split between you put two things that look like dicks in front of me. I'm not supposed to jerk them off? What the hell?
Welcome to the stand-up community. That goes on all the time.
That's the hashtag for those of you live tweeting. It's a long one, but...
It's a long one, but put it down. I guess there's an episode coming up that hasn't aired yet that I really, really like doing, which is about... I'm not Jehovah's Witness anymore, but I guess Troy still is, or maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of questions, but like, there's an episode that talks about like birthdays and stuff like that, and I felt like that episode was really cool for me, because I did feel like that when I had my first birthday in college. Like, it was like, literally like somebody like took the condom off of life. I was like feeling everything for the first time. Like, it really was. It was awesome, and like I felt like this episode was like that, because I was very like nervous and scared, because I was like, oh, what are birthdays, what is this, and kind of thing, and it was really cool. And also paintball, because I like shooting guns off. Like, it was like fake guns. Like, I'm kind of scared of guns, but the fake ones just were, by the end of the day, me and Joe were like, ah, bah, 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 bah. It was just like fun to shoot them off. But that was it.
Joe, what's your favorite?
I'll cheat and I'll say two. I loved Halloween this year, because that was probably one of our, I think it was even more ambitious than paintball in a lot of ways, and it took a lot of hard work, and it paid off. It was a really, really cool episode. And then I'll say a debate because we discovered the Jeff Annie sort of through line in that episode. And what was cool about it, just from a directing standpoint, is it was sort of like it was like a chemist lab on set. We shot this scene where there's all this insinuation between the two of them, and I remember the crew just kept coming up to the monitor and watching the scene, and everybody was getting titillated, and I remember thinking,
I remember what scene this
right.
was. This is the cleavage scene.
It is, yeah. I was like, we've got something here. Loving this.
What about the one we just saw? Did you? That's
Joe
one of
directed
my
that one,
favorites.
by the way.
Joe directed that one. Did you guys enjoy? Putting you on the spot there, but I think that's going to be one of my favorites when this year is done. I mean, that's another way to be ambitious, to lock those people in a room and not have anywhere to go or anything to do. Hopefully it played. Hopefully my instincts aren't that off. I'm watching that thing and going, this is going to be pretty well received from fans, because it's nice to watch these guys just be talented in a room without like antenna on their heads and stuff.
Yeah, that was another one though it was crazy to watch. It's interesting to be on set shooting them, and then to see what they turn out to be.
Because you're getting, like, we got scripts, like, literally day of and stuff like that, and things are changing, and like that, and that happens a lot sometimes.
And we shot that episode like a bottle week. Like, normally, I think when we're on set, we shoot a lot of scenes together, but then also people have breaks, you know what I mean? So it's like you're kind of shooting a scene with these people for a while, and you go and you have a couple hours. And that episode, we shot it all handheld, and it was like we did all have to stay there all day, every day, and like, it was so touch and go. It was like, Allison, get back in here. We're gonna turn around on you. We got the angle. And you're like, okay. And then we'd like get new pages for it and like learn a little paragraph and like go do it. And it was so, like, the tensions were running high, the emotions were high. We were all tired. It was, but like so into it. It felt, like it felt like acting school. It felt like a play. It felt like you were doing a play. So it was cool.
We were just screaming at each other all the time.
Yeah, and yet. Thank God we had Joe there as like this great ringleader, and Dan, the eye in the sky, and people and the writers kind of watching it, is because we were all so in this bubble of doing it. Watching it, I thought, oh, when did they get that? It was cool.
And it was one of our one of the writers is a friend of mine, Megan. And it was her first script, so she was very like.
Where's Megan?
She was very like in.
Megan,
oh, Megan.
Hi, Megan.
She did a great job.
In there, like making
She
sure
was very
things,
hands-on.
Very hands-on.
And she was excited about it with us. It was like,
it was awesome.
It was cool shooting that last scene where we were all sitting there, and it's so cheesy to say this, but it did sort of feel that way, that we were all like, we've been through something together this week, guys. We've all bonded more, but we sort of had.
It was cool.
And we saved $200,000.
Yeah.
No music, no.
Some money fans over there. They're like, yeah.
we're not giving it to you guys. Well, we'll make T-shirts that have $200,000 on them.